Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs, like the giants of traditional finance, but it seems to be that they are not honoring withdrawals. And that could lead to a banking or traditional finance crisis. So let's go ahead and talk about this because BlackRock is a traditional financial entity, but they don't operate like a bank. They kind of are like the third party for the third parties when it comes to traditional financial instruments, but they have a lot of capital, they have a lot of influence, and when we're talking about halting any type of withdrawals or redemptions or any type of money from anybody, that signals an issue. And it signals an issue because, number one, that means that they are having trouble with their capital, either whether it be unrealized losses or the market's not doing great. But when they have trouble with their capital, that means that the American taxpayers are the ones that get to bail these companies out, which is absolutely terrifying. And this is another reason why we Bitcoin and why we crypto, so that we can hold on to our own assets. Yes, there's risks associated with it. Yes, things don't always go as planned when it comes to crypto. It's complicated. It's always very complicated to custody your own assets because you're fully taking responsibility for your actions, whether you lose your private seed phrase, you accidentally click on a link and whatnot. But the beauty of it is that you actually own your Bitcoin, your XRP or fiat, or whatever it is, you own it. Now, with that being said, people like the banks and they love to defend the banks because when it comes to the banks, thank you so much, Lawrence, for the $10 super chat. I am going to be emailing you. That's on my list. Just please be patient with me. This week was an absolute nightmare. Like, if I was to tell you guys every single thing that happened, you'd be like that. It's just crazy, okay? But today's better. Back to what I was saying though. I lost my train of thought. Okay. So people think that the banks are safe, and they think that the banks are safe because we've been using these systems for so long. And then they hear of something called FDIC insurance. When we're talking about FDIC insurance, it's insurance. So just like the term investment, and don't worry, I'm going to get back to the BlackRock, what's happening with redemptions and withdrawals and halting. I'm just trying to paint you a picture so that we're all on the same page. Because at the end of the day, I can I can talk out of the side of my neck all day long and tell you something, whether my God is bullish or bearish or blah, blah, blah. But this is traditional finance. This stuff is really complicated. I am also learning along with you guys. When I say learning along with you, there's so many different aspects I don't know about because not everybody is an expert in traditional finance. Like, it's incredibly complicated. So when we're talking about, when we say the term investment, people in America think, okay, I'm going to invest in a 401k and I am going to, I'm going to make money. Investing is gambling, but it's a little bit safer. When people hear the term insurance, they're like, I'm covered. I pay X amount of dollars, or I have this insurance, so God forbid there's an emergency, I'm okay. That's not the case when it comes to health insurance. It's not the case when it comes to car insurance. That's not the case when it comes to the banks. If any of you have ever had to file an insurance claim, you're not getting back what you anticipate in most cases. It doesn't work that way. So when we talk about FDIC insurance, yes, the bank's deposits are back to a certain percentage, but FDIC is not, the little fund that they have is not big enough to cover everyone. So if people are pulling their money out or there's a collapse or whatnot, the big boys are getting their money first. You're getting the money last, even though American taxpayers make up the bulk of taxes, and taxes go to fund bank bailouts, to fund roads, school, all the different things. We're the ones that are paying. Not going to get into the whole billionaire tax thing with you guys, okay? So now that I've painted that picture, let's talk about what's happening, okay? So BlackRock halts withdrawals. They got hit with a $1.2 billion withdrawal request this quarter, and BlackRock only paid half and locked the rest. And BlackRock they've got about 26 billion private credit fund limits, and these were the withdrawals. And of course, their stock, they dumped about 4%. So basically what's happening is BlackRock limits withdrawals from its flagship debt fund. Investors wanted to pull 1.2 billion, but the fund only allowed half. Blackstone, the people that buy all the houses, they had a similar issue. So BlackRock's 26 billion private credit fund, HPS Corporate Lending Fund, received 1.2 billion in withdrawal requests from investors in early 2026, equal to about 9.3% of its assets. Due to its built-in quarterly limit, the fund only allowed 620 million, 5% to be redeemed, which effectively gating the rest to manage liquidity. This reflects growing stress in the $1.7 to $2 trillion private credit sector, where funds hold illiquid long-time loans that can't be quickly sold during outflows. Similar pressures recently hit Blackstone, which injected capital to cover more requests, and Blue Owl, which restricted payouts. Basically, it's an early sign of caution among investors amid economic uncertainty, higher default risks, and post-boom slowdown. It's not a full-blown crisis yet. Basically, this is kind of like repeating past credit strains like 2023's mini crisis and underscores regulatory scrutiny on funds' ability to handle sudden exits without broader spillover to the public market. So basically what happened is there's a bunch of people that are invested in BlackRock and said, hey, we want to sell. We're done. We're out. We're out. The economy's hard. American debt is all-time high with trillions and trillions of dollars. Credit card debt, all-time high. Defaults, like jobs are down. The American economy literally sucks. It is absolutely terrible. So, of course, people are going to want to say, hey, you know what? Let me get some extra cash here. I would rather hold on my cash. I don't want it to be invested anymore. BlackRock's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. We are going to limit withdrawals of your investments because we don't know if we have enough to cover everything. Because if you pull out too much, then there could be risk of a collapse. And legally, they can do this. Just like legally, the banks are not required to have zero reserves. So even though this is like above my pay grade, I'm understanding. And also, you guys, make sure to smash a like and share this. That helps support me and the channel. But so basically, even in like on a lower level with banks, if you go into a bank, you're like, hey, I want to withdraw $500. The banks can turn you away and be like, no, we're not going to give you $500 because they, by law, do not have to have zero assets. There are zero reserves. Now you can file an FDIC claim, but are you going to like the amount of time and effort, and are you really going to get that back? Now, this is on a larger scale. We're talking about traditional finance. We're talking about the big boys. We're talking about the ivory towers. We're talking about the people that are like, hey, you know what? We've got disposable income. We've got this special accredited investor. We're hedge funds. We're this, we're that, blah, 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 blah. We want a little bit of our capital because they're probably struggling too. Because you have to remember, the banking industry, traditional finance, it runs on debt. And you'll see all these other influencers and all these other people like take out debt, take out debt, take out debt. I am okay with taking out debt in moderation if you understand the risks, if you have a plan, okay? But the way that traditional finance operates, the way the government operates, debt, 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 debt. This is why they want to continue to raise taxes, is because we have so much debt. They don't want to balance the budget. They do not want to cut programs. They don't want to be audited. So they're just this. Okay? And again, that's how the banks operate. They take our money that we deposit, they loan it out, and they make money on it. But in this particular case, BlackRock's like, hey guys, we're sorry. We can only give you a little bit of redemptions back. And the people, I'm reading in between the lines here because the economy's been a hot mess since the panorama. In between the lines, I'm seeing that some of these other family, whoever's invested in these products from BlackRock, they're probably having financial issues themselves. They've probably got a lot of unrealized losses. So an unrealized loss is when you're holding onto an asset, number goes down, but you're not realizing that loss by selling it. Inversely, unrealized profits, we see this a lot in crypto, is when you buy XRP, number goes up and you're up $1 million, but you don't take profit, you don't sell. And institutions and banks and all these TradFi entities, they have a lot of unrealized losses or unrealized gains. And they do this for tax purposes, they do this for investing purposes, they do these for all different purposes. It really kind of depends. But the point is that it's like it's a massive Ponzi scheme. They actually don't really have the assets to back it up because they're just loaning it out to everybody. And then right now, investors are like saying, hey, we want our money, we want our return on our investment. BlackRock's like, no. So will there be another collapse? Maybe. What I've talked about is, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Well, first, hold on. Give my channel members a shout out. If you want to be a channel member, I give you guys special shout outs. It's like $3 or $4. I'm also thinking of doing like a Patreon or something to where I can have direct access with you guys with all the different social media platforms, because I have over 1.2 million globally and we're growing. But I want to have like a single place that we can all meet and talk and hang out, because I can't answer questions to I can't answer questions to everybody. And we're a little bit excited over here because we ate donuts this morning. Baby, I'm still streaming, so don't say any sensitive information.
Do I brush my hair?
If you can start doing that, and then I'll be there to help finish it.
Okay.
Okay, love you. Go take care of your business.
Love you.
Love you too, baby. With that being said, okay, really quickly, channel members, shout outs. Good morning to Lawrence. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you to Dale for showing up. To Investor Crisis, he knows about all this stuff. To Lawrence again, and to Cherry. Okay, so when President Trump came into office, hold on a second, let me cook on this. When President Trump came into office, he said no CBDC. That was part of his crypto promise. And he put out an executive order. Now there's a housing bill. And in the little housing bill, if Jeffrey, if that's the one, thank you so much. I love that, because I don't have it at the top of my head. There's a housing bill that's like, okay, no CBDC until 2031. So what I'm thinking is going to happen, America is in so much trouble financially that eventually, to stop things from collapsing, they're going to just vertically integrate, push all of crypto over it, stable coins, CBDCs, they're going to push everything over and make everything digital. And they're going to push it off, because they wanted to do this during the panorama, and I have videos about it, talking about it in 2020. So what they're doing is what they're going to do is they're going to be like, okay, we're having an issue here. CBDCs are better. You can get your UBI, you can get whatever, because again, AI is taking a lot of jobs and there's a lot of layoffs. So what I think they're going to do is we're going to get some sort of UBI, possibly. They're going to merge everything over digitally. They're going to sell it to you as, hey, this is a great thing because you can get your money instantly. And then we're going to get the CBDC. That's exactly how that's going to work. So instead of the financial system collapsing, they're just going to merge it over and they're going to prolong the collapse. Which is why it's very important to pay attention to what BlackRock's doing. They're limiting withdrawals for their investors. What Blackstone did, what Blue Owl did, what all of these traditional financial companies are doing, and what your banks are doing. Just because there's FDIC insurance does not mean you're going to get access to your assets. If you have, God forbid, you get sick and you have to cash in on your health insurance claim, as far as use your health insurance to pay for brain surgery or whatever, they're not going to cover all of it. If you have, God forbid, you get in a car crash, they're not going to cover all of it. If your home burns down, God forbid, it's not all going to get covered. Look at what's happening in the Palisades and with Eaton. So I want you guys to think about what's happening, think about hard assets, just think about all of this, what's happening in the world. And of course, figure out how to use AI to your advantage, because the next bull run will be kicked off with AI and crypto and microtransactions. But all of this is coming. There's not necessarily a whole lot we can do to stop it, but we can practice self-education and come up with some sort of plan. Anyways, I am going to go because we have to do some shopping. Got to get her some cute little skirts for summer. Got play dates today, and I think we're going to be doing a slumber party with the kids. I don't perplexity pose the worst. You'll email me about that. Anyways, guys, sending you love and light. We got to go.